Hello everyone. Today I'd like to start a new series of videos, and this time we are talking about Tableau. It is a software and mainly for data analytics. Why? Because I'm having my current training program in data analytics, and it's been a few days so far, and we've already got both analytics and science going on, data science. It is a lot of math and statistics, and the main purpose actually is not to teach you, but to teach me, to teach myself. And as I learn along, I think it's constructive of me to do some video notes on how to become hands-on about this software. I think hands-on experience is very important. Um, Honestly, it doesn't even necessarily guarantee landing on a job. I mean, data analyst, and it's a lot of math going on and so on. It's more complicated than I say. But exactly this is why I need to get hands-on as soon as possible. So right now, just to save your time, I start talking about this software. So this is the official website, as you can see. There's Tableau public. Well, you can have subscription versions. I'm quite sure they have it, and they even have a new Tableau GPT going on. Not yet released, but sooner or later. And it is available for Windows and Mac. And again, this is way more complicated than I described it. So just download this. I think you are supposed to sign in. You're supposed to sign in with a fresh account on your own. Probably you could use a Google account if you prefer. So to save your time, I already have the actual software layout, and I already have some data set. I have some visualizations. We call them visuals. Uh, they roughly look like this. So it looks kind of not so easy to understand from the very start. But uh, just for my point of doing video notes as I progress along, then we can get to see what it actually means. We have something like this: countries of the world 1970. So we can take a look at what it means here. So there's something called imputed international data 70. So I didn't make this data, and just for a disclaimer, what I'm describing in the following, it doesn't reflect real world politics, not at all. It's all basically made up data or something. It's too many variables, so in the following videos and this one, we can take a look at what they mean. Okay. So anyway, I already imported this data, and let's see what we can do. Okay, here, so let's go through some basic math. In basic math, you were taught something like y equals to mx plus b or something, right? So you have x-intercept, you have y-intercept, and so on. So I think a lot of people, they can teach me back. So on things like, are you supposed to put something towards the x-axis and something on the y-axis? These days, if you ask GPT, you can basically get a lot of answers. So here, my whole purpose, I repeat, is just to do notes. It's just about getting hands-on. If you are very savvy in math and statistics or Tableau itself, you don't have to listen to me. All right, so let's continue. So I was up to this point. I have multiple webbooks going on, but this one has to be one of the most recent. So this one means just look at the variables. Freedom to own foreign currency bank accounts. We are talking about 1970, so it's kind of fictional. You're gonna know why. So it's like 50 years ago, right? And we have another row. It's called the columns are freedom to trade internationally, and the rows they are foreign. Okay, let us see what it is. State ownership of assets. All right. So individual countries don't really matter. Again, we don't talk about politics here. We just talk about how countries are different, hypothetically. Okay. So we have stuff like this. It's called, if you click show me, so it's basically horizontal bars, but there are a lot of things going on here. So what happened was, if you click analysis, this is a very important tab here. I think in my class so far, I think I've used this tab the most. If you click aggregate measures, you will get nothing meaningful to see because you are just adding up everything. So aggregates, just to recall, it means to sum up. So you don't actually add up freedom to trade and state ownership. Nobody does that. So let me just Control Z. We are back to normal. Okay. These are all the scattered figures. All right. And say, for instance, you don't even have to know what country it is, but just in case, we can look at the data. So because it is my instructor already did the imputed data, so you can only see the figures here. It doesn't really show much, but just to check again, you can always discover different elements here. Could be anything, right? There are always a lot of space in the whole software to just to explore different elements and how they work. Anyway, like 170 countries and so on, and they show all these uh, dots scattered around the whole chart. So if you know some basic statistics to know the distribution of these data, these figures, and you know just using these two variables, you can already see that there's a certain trend going on, and that's why you have this line. So how do we do this line? It is you click analytics here, or maybe here, and you click trend line. And when you click trend line, you drag and you pick a certain way of the trend line. So in my class exercise, we did linear, so I don't need to do it again. And here you go. You have a trend line, which is you can edit the properties. So edit all trend lines. So model type is linear. It can be something different, right? Such as logarithmic. For some reason, I like this so much. I'm gonna explain later. Exponential, power, and even polynomial. Polynomial, I think it's just optimal if you don't use too much. If it is too much, then you are gonna get something like this, which is pretty ridiculous. Anyway, okay, I didn't mean to use this kind of curve, but anyway, let's go back to the straight line. Okay, so this is it, and of course you can always try something else, right? But it really depends on whether you already know these charts and whether something actually makes sense. Just like just now, if you use aggregate measures, then it's gonna be meaningless because we don't want to add up everything. We just we just want to compare different countries in this, I repeat, hypothetical case. So could be something like this, right? Box and whisker plots. Could be something like this. It really depends on what you want to do. It, you always ask yourself this question when you do programming. Well, we are not actually programming yet. I'll do this later, but at least for now, all that we know is um, we have something to place in the columns and something in the rows. And if you look at the variables, you can see something else, right? I'm gonna talk about this in the later videos. But anyway, things like alliance. So this is verbal, so ABC. Countries, there's a globe. It means that it is some geographical location. So all these, they are kind of qualitative or quantitative variables. So, for instance, if we talk about regime type like democracy or dictatorship or something, so it is qualitative. For quantitative, that's mostly numbers. Things like could be growth, could be standard deviation, and so on. That I think this data sets alone from my instructor it's been very useful because there are enough variables for us to talk about. So let's say I'm just doing a short introduction here. Another case is this. I think this is from this morning or yesterday morning. So here we have tariffs and money growth. For whatever reason, they are like this. So what I did here was you can drag a lines to this tab called color. So what it does is, let us see, uh, I don't want to edit this, but let's see how it works. Mm. There are many ways of doing it. You can even write some code here. But anyway, the whole point of it is that um, the orange ones, they are so-called US allies. Maybe you don't like this, but this is this is what this data set is about. And blue ones, they are non-US allies. So anyway, we have another set of trend lines here. But if you do a research on trend lines, you can know that for a trend line to be so flat like these two, they are not useful. They are statistically insignificant. So like the p-value is so high, almost 0.4. So it's like um, in English, it means that for tariffs and money growth, you cannot see an actual pattern. There's no pattern here. There's no correlation. My current topic is on correlation, so this is why. I think we should move on to the next video.